This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. Governor Eric Holcomb and other stakeholders joined Indiana State Park officials on Tuesday to dedicate the cornerstone plaque for the lodge at Potato Creek, the first state park lodge built since 1939. Officials said construction was progressing on schedule following a groundbreaking ceremony held in October of last year. Preliminary development of parking lots, construction of a new water tower, and the installation of a trunk for water and sewer lines are underway. Indiana's director for the Department of Natural Resources, Dan Bortner, said the agency is taking a great deal of pride in getting the project right.
Being able to go back and have a lodge in that section of the state for Hoosiers and our guests to enjoy, we're pretty excited about that. This particular project, we broke ground for this in October of last year, and just it's been a monumental undertaking trying to prep the site, get it ready. We want to make sure that we do this right. We're going to get one shot at it, and so we want to make sure that everything is as it should be.
Officials don't expect winter weather to disrupt the schedule. The lodge is still set to open in late 2026 or early 2027. Last year, under the Holcomb administration and with the budget bolstered by pandemic relief funds, state legislators finally allocated $100 million to the project. The lodge will be operated through the Indiana Inns Authority. The 120-room lodge will also feature a full-service 150-person dining room, a conference room with breakout rooms, an indoor pool, and more. Eli Lilly and Company said Wednesday that a head-to-head clinical trial shows its weight loss treatment Zepbound helped patients lose 47% more relative weight than competitor Novo Nordisk's obesity treatment Wegovy. Indianapolis-based Lilly said Zepbound, which launched 12 months ago, led to a superior weight loss of about 20% compared with 13.7% with Wegovy. Lilly said the figures came from summary results in a phase 3 stage clinical trial known as SURMOUNT-5. The trial was made up of 750 adults in the United States who received maximum tolerated doses of Zepbound or Wegovy. Lilly's announcement came 5 weeks after it announced disappointing third-quarter earnings in which it missed sales expectations on Zepbound and diabetes treatment Mounjaro. The most commonly reported adverse events in SURMOUNT-5 for both Zepbound and Wegovy were gastrointestinal related and were generally mild to moderate in severity. Lilly said it will continue to evaluate the trial results, which will be published in a peer-reviewed journal and presented at a medical meeting next year. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Central Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the IEDC invite you to Engage Central Indiana, December 12th in Indianapolis, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Join us for a day focused on Central Indiana's growth. Connect with fellow leaders and walk away with bold new thinking to help your region thrive. RSVP now at ibj.com/engage.
Indiana Governor-elect Mike Braun on Tuesday pitched his first policy agenda since his November electoral victory, largely re-emphasizing his commitment to campaign promises. Braun's Freedom and Opportunity agenda focuses on tax relief, government efficiency, economic development, public health, and the quality of life factors like public safety, energy affordability, and water cleanliness. On taxes, Braun is calling for a limit on property tax increases of 2 to 3% annually. Braun also wants to ditch state taxes on retirement income, establish farm savings accounts, and change the formula used to assess farmland for property taxes. On education, Braun favors universal school choice, making every family in Indiana eligible for state vouchers to private and charter schools. Braun's agenda also calls for an increase in teacher base pay, new performance-based pay, and a dedicated school safety office. For a full look at his agenda plans, go to InsideIndianaBusiness.com. West Lafayette-based Innovative Inc. is reporting a fiscal full-year net loss of $108 million compared to a loss of $105 million the previous year. The pharmaceutical testing company said this week that it plans to continue its efforts to consolidate some of its facilities across the United States next year. Innovative said revenue for the fiscal year totaled $490 million, down from about 14% from the previous year. For the fourth quarter alone, the company had a little over a 7.3% decrease. The net loss for the year included a $28 million charge related to an agreement reached in June with federal authorities as part of a criminal plea admitting that Inotiv's subsidiary Envigo RMS neglected thousands of dogs at its breeding facility in rural Virginia. Inotiv has spent the last few years consolidating operations at sites across the U.S. and the United Kingdom. Indiana Girl Scouts CEO Danielle Shockey is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast, hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.